Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The Netball Show is back for season 2016 here in the Ballarat Football Netball League. My name's Shaun Kelly in the host's chair as always. I bet you didn't think that you'd be seeing that a couple of months ago when they were obviously not working with AFL Goldfields anymore, but we've struck a compromise. We're back, and Kim Bailey, our netball manager, decided that we just need to get the old team together to make sure that the Netball Show was back in force for season 2016. Kimmy, welcome back.
Thanks, Shawnee, and great to have you back. We can't get rid of you, and nor
It's
do
like
we
one of
want
those
to.
bad smells that just keeps hanging around.
But it's great to have you back with us, and looking forward to a really exciting year of netball ahead.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very good year. It's already started on a good note, and we'll touch on that very briefly, very shortly. New format for the Netball Show this year. We're going to shorten it up a little bit. We obviously know that your time is precious, and as good as the shows were last year, and as good as the quality was, we don't quite want you sitting in front of the computer screen for half an hour at a time this year.
No, watching me get the bejesus scared out of me by my boss.
That too.
Stuff too.
We
So
made sure he's not here today, so we don't have to worry about that. In fact, there's nobody else in the office today, so it's just us, so don't have to worry about any of that. So we're going to go through some of the main talking points from the previous week each week, and then we'll go in and have a look at the coming week's games in the BFNL's A-grade netball competition each week. And our first talking points, Kim, for season 2016, of course, the performance of the girls in the Regional Victorian Netball League. Fourth title in a row, absolutely flying, and another chance to go on and have a shot at the Champions Challenge up in Melbourne.
Yeah, it was a fantastic performance by the girls. 4 in a row. In any man's language, that's a really hard task to get over the line with. So really, really pleased. I think it was most probably the strongest team that we've put out on the court for some years. We were really lucky to have Loz Atkinson and Jordan Bibby back from Sovereign's duties, so they slotted in seamlessly in the team. And it was a great game. It was a one goal
game in the grand final against Wendouree.
Bit of nail biter in the end, but Kate McMahon and the girls did a fantastic job, and we're really pleased, and hopefully we'll get the win over Gippsland again.
Gippsland again, same as last year at Hisense Arena, and we believe at this stage it may be mid-June around the long weekend, but we're just waiting on 100% confirmation.
Yep, just trying to little bit of deals with Netball to Vic to see what we can come up with, but that at the moment it's looking like the likely scenario. And
our second talking point for this week was, of course, that there is some netball that has been played already, even though round one is still ahead of us. We did have the season opener last week. Darley taking on Melton South in the season opener. It was Darley taking home the first points of season 2016, defeating Melton South 40 goals to 32 in a game that up until half-time was pretty close, Kimmy, but then Darley pulled away in the third quarter. Yeah, interesting, these two teams. They've got a pretty much a new lineup for all of them, and it's great to see both teams blooding some of their youth. Courtney Barnes stepping up to A grade. Good to see Court shooting in A grade.
Yeah, just needs to lift those percentages a little bit. 53 courts, we need to get them up a bit.
Mum will be telling her that, don't worry.
Rick will be onto that. But look, it's great. We've got Erin Carlin for Mountain South and Elise Williams. I'm not going to say the last name because I always make Otahu, who actually played for the RDFL last year in the Under-17 competition for Mountain South. And
very impressive in the Under-17 grand final in the RDFL for Mountain South as well.
Great player, and it's fantastic to see those two kids getting an opportunity. Mountain South's got a whole new look. We've got a new coach, an RDFL Premiership coach and Royal medalist, Melissa Climates has stepped in, and she's brought a couple of her girls with us. Her daughter Alexis, who's a great goal attack, and another good defender, Naomi Moore. So they're looking to step it up. But I think it was a fantastic performance by Darley to get the first win on the board.
Well done to the Devils' first win on the board, and they can rest on their laurels for a little bit now, because as we have a look at round one, Darley with the bye this week. So as we start to cast our eye through the round one games, we'll start with the game being played under lights at Wendouree Reserve this week. Lake Wendouree taking on Redan, and for the Lakers, they look pretty similar to what we saw last year. Redan, though, with a couple of changes, obviously, at the helm. Cherie Collins taking over as A-grade coach this year, and Tasha Dack coming down from Darwin, and she'll start goal shooter for Redan, somebody that obviously you know fairly well from being on the Sovereigns Div 1 list as well.
Yeah, look, Tasha's a girl that's come down from NT. Would be good for her to get some time under her belt with some proper game time with Redan. Might be a little bit different than the netball she's played in Northern Territory. It is a different style, but look, I think Lake Wendouree will be another powerhouse this year.
Yeah, I think they will be too. They'll win this game this week. They're keeping things pretty quiet, but I know the coach is back on the court, and she's put herself back in the A-grade side, Romsey, this year as well.
Great to have her back.
Not having to worry about babies or anything like that, Roms. It's great to have her back on the court, and we know how strong that defensive line is for Lake Wendouree as well. With you just looked at some of the players that were in the RVNL, Cara Hart, and through the mid-court, obviously Molly Boyle and Mallow defensively. So
Molly Boyle in particular had an absolutely stellar season last year. So just looking for them to consolidate, and hopefully, they'll be looking to go further and make it into that grand final this year.
Lake Wendouree to win this. It'll be a good game though. I think Redan still keeping a fair few of their players from last year. Emma Henry obviously still there. Jordan Lever in defence. Ruby Parry, who was very good in the second half of the RVNL grand final.
She had an outstanding game. Yeah,
they'll still be there or thereabouts, Redan. But I just think Lakers get over the line this week. The local derby down at Melton. Melton taking on Melton South. Melton South already have some exposed form that we just spoke about for the year. Melton, disappointing year for the Bloods last year as well. They'll be looking to improve this year, and they'll start favourites probably, I think, just this week in the local derby at Mackie Park.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting game. I might pop over and have a look at that one. Renee Hulls, another RDFL former coach, and Royal Mendelist is running up for Melton this year. So there'll be a really, really good coaching duo contest there. So we'll see.
No love lost between Renee Hulls and Mel Climas either?
I don't think so. I'm not quite sure, to tell you the truth, Shawnee. Yep. But, every coach is competitive, but I think the girls have got a pretty good relationship. You're just trying to stir the pot, I think.
Exactly right.
Shaun.
100% correct.
No, they're fine. But it'll be a pretty close game, I think. But I think Melton just might sneak over.
Yeah, Bloods just for mine as well. Bacchus Marsh taking on Sunbury at Mattingley Park this weekend. We know that Bacchus Marsh, a very young side last year, they've hopefully be looking to take some advantage by the games they got into their young players in A grade last year. New coach down at Bacchus Marsh as well, and a bit of a new outlook. Sunbury changed the team around a little bit. Interesting to have a look at their structures during the week. Monique Clark comes into their A grade side this year. Rachel Doverston crosses over from Ballarat, where she was very good defensively last year, and she'll play for the Lions this year. Beck Anstey, interestingly, listed at goal attack and will coach the side, I believe, for the first part of the season. Interesting game. Kimmy, your thoughts?
Yeah, Sunbury's most probably been one of the clubs that have been affected mostly by the change to VNL, where it runs virtually in line with footy netball, in line with the ANZ champion, in line with ANL. So what happens, there's lots of Saturday games and Sunday games for VNL, which means their players are unavailable. So they will be affected greatly by that. They've still got Prue Stanley, who is dominant in the mid-court.
Of course.
So, she's a superstar. With Monique and Rachel. Rachel's a Sunbury girl, so she's gone home. Look, they'll still be competitive. Big task for go from defence to goalers, but if anyone can do it, Beck can. Yep. And I think they're still sorting out who's will take on that shooting position with the loss of Chloe Curran because of her VNL commitments. Bacchus, they're a little bit of the unknown at the moment. I've heard they've recruited a couple of girls from Falcons. I'm not quite sure if that's right. Their coach Dean is a former state indoor mixed netballer, so he's got some good knowledge behind him, and I actually took him for a course a few weeks ago. Very enthusiastic. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. Geez, this one's really hard to pick. Because I don't know much about the Bacchus Marsh team at the moment, I'm going to go Sunbury.
I have to go the same way. You're right. Yeah. We don't know much about Bacchus Marsh. We don't really know a heck of a lot about Sunbury either. But round one is a tough tipping round, because a lot of times you've got to go on 2015 form, and you know how much teams can turn over in the pre-season. So going with Sunbury, but not really confidently.
Yeah, and clubs keep their cards pretty close to their chest these days, so we don't know who's really going to line up before I see the teams on a Thursday or a Friday. So it's really difficult, but I'm just going to go with Sunbury on this one.
A couple of pretty good games to finish off the round. Down at Marty Bush Reserve on the new court that was unveiled on the weekend in the Junior Lightning Premiership, Sebastopol taking on Ballarat, the teams that finished 7th and 6th on the ladder last year. Speaking with Sebastopol coach Georgia Can on the weekend, she's just very much keeping a lid on things at the moment, was pretty coy about what's happening down at the Borough at the moment. Of course, our friend Rhiannon Banner, still A-grade captain down at the Borough, so we wish her all the best of luck throughout the season. Ballarat, a couple of movements during the off-season, a couple of very interesting players in. Katie Lindquist back into the Ballarat structure for the first time in, I think, 3 or 4 years since she went out to Learmonth. So good to see Katie back in the BFL. Hayley Fiddler, of course, going down with a knee injury as well. She was in sparkling form throughout the pre-season in the B&A competition as well, and in pre-season training for the Sovereigns, so she will be a loss in the goals for Ballarat.
Yeah, look, Katie Lindquist is an absolute superstar. She's a past Sovereigns player as well, so very, very strong in defence. Look, they're not going to lose much from replacing Rachel with Katie.
Katie, that's great.
Most probably she's a little bit more harder at the ball than Rachel is. Different type of player as well. Rachel's most probably more of that agile player, but she's a great in.
Yeah,
Katie is, and it's a real shame to see Hayley go down, such a talented player. So they'll miss her, but Kelly Moran's still there.
She is.
So that'll be the tall target. I'm sure Lisa will have a plan to support her.
And, of course, I reckon that Sebastopol will have a plan for Kelly on the weekend as well. Adriana Can coming back into the side full-time this year. Obviously, as a tall defender, Kalia Dix will float back down there as well. Their best and fairest in last year. So.
I think she'll switch between attack and defence. So I think she's brought primarily in as a shooter. But I think they might have to use the height this week and pop her in there.
Your tip?
Ballarat.
Yeah, Swans for mine as well. The Sebastopol fans aren't going to like that one, and I know I'm going to... The phone calls and text messages, the phone just lights up as soon as this goes on.
Well, that's what
why will
tipping's
it be
all
any
about.
different
That's
this
what
year?
tipping's all about.
Round 1 tipping going with the Swans. Then the last game of the round, won't this be a ripper? East Point taking on North Ballarat City. Starting sevens for these two teams looking very, very similar to the teams that played last year, and if that's the case, we're in for an absolute ripper.
Well, Shorty, I'm going to go out on a limb. Last year, when my first round in presenting the show, I tipped that Ballarat would make finals.
Yes.
And you thought I was stupid, and
I did.
They made finals.
And they did.
I think these two teams will play off in the grand final this year, East Point and North Ballarat. Both extremely strong team. Their lineups have been pretty steady. East Point have got Sasha Valco in, who's, I think that's how you pronounce her last name, but is a former Geelong Cougar coach. And has brought a couple of players with her, so they'll be extremely strong, my understanding. But North Ballarat are such a well-oiled team. They're just seamless the whole time. So it'll be a great game. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the result is on this one. Which way to go? Oh, gee whiz. Look, North Ballarat were too comprehensive last year in the granny. I'm going to have to go with them. Yeah,
North Ballarat City for mine. How can you tip against a team that was undefeated all season last year? We're going to get around to a few of these games. As you said, Kimmy, you might pop down to Melton South. I'm going to do a bit of the rounds this week as well. Take the camera with me and get some photos and some video from 3 games this week. Sebastopol and Ballarat, East Point and North Ballarat City, and then Lakers and Redan. So some good coverage for you next week on the Netball Show. That's all the time we've got for this week on the BFL Netball Show. Kimmy, great to have you back. Great to have the Netball Show back.
Great to be back.
And great to have you back watching us here on the BFL website. We'll be back every week, every Wednesday throughout the 2016 season. We'll catch up with you then.